Hello everyone! This video is on the topic of living and taking care of older dogs. Now this video was voted into creation by the Kiko Pup members, so thank you so much Kiko Pup members for your support. To begin with, it can be very challenging to take care of older dogs. It's almost like there's a return to puppyhood. They can start to lose their incontinence, start to lose their manners in the house. They can be forgetful, they can get dementia. For my own dogs, they started to sleep less. So I was living, sadly, Kiko and Splash, two of the first dogs that began my YouTube channel. I had dogs before, but Kiko is actually the reason, Kiko, my Chihuahua, is actually the reason my channel is named Kiko Pup, because I got Kiko as a pup. And so I made the channel for her, and then it turned into a dog training channel. So anyway, Kiko sadly passed at 17, and Splash passed at 14 recently. And but living with them in their older age was very challenging and exhausting. I changed my whole life around. Sometimes it's not possible to change one's life around, and you can get caregivers, or perhaps you have family members that help you out. But in Splash's case, it was a little extreme that she had bladder cancer, so she was needing to get up like every 30 minutes in the night. So I didn't know how long that was going to last. I had thought it was a bladder infection at first, before it was diagnosed as bladder cancer. So I thought it was going to end, and that I wouldn't have to keep waking up every 30 minutes to let her out to go to the bathroom. And so and I was losing a lot of sleep, and it was exhausting. So when she got the cancer diagnosis, I actually did train her to go to the toilet inside, and I'd never trained her to do that. So it took a lot of work. So there's a lot of problem solving and new sorts of management. Some examples of this is teaching your dog to be in a pen during their life is a great idea, so that if they do get old and have dementia or are incontinent, you can create a puppy-proof or old dog-proof zone to put them in when you're not around, so that they're safe and so that they're not going to just destroy your house or make it an unsanitary environment. It's not funny, but we didn't know this when I was growing up, and I had a childhood dog, a beagle, and when she got really old and senile, she had some, I believe it must have been focal seizures now, but at the time I didn't know what had happened, but she would walk in circles. So like we would go to high school, and when we'd come back, she'd have pooped and then walked in a circle, and the whole living room would be covered in poop. So after that had happened like 3 times, we realized it was going to keep happening. So the solution was to create a nice area for the dog. And actually she stopped pooping because she wasn't walking around a lot. So while we were at school, she was resting. So it was an X-pen with some plastic down, and then a nice soft slip-proof blanket on top, so that if she did go to the bathroom, you just had to wash the blanket and not the slip-proof thing underneath. And then a dog bed. And what I did was put a plastic bag. I took the cover of the dog bed off, and I put a plastic bag around the dog bed, and then put the cover back on. So if she did go in the bed, I'd only have to wash the outer covering. So there's those ideas. Another idea is that you put doggy diapers on your dog and then attach them with a harness. But I personally found it easier to clean up after an incontinent dog that had gone in a pen, rather than it being like smushed on their body. So that was my own preference, that I found it easier to clean a thin blanket than to do the diaper solution. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. And then also having nice, an enzymatic cleaner to clean the plastic underneath, and things like that. Also, I found with my own old dog that having, when they lay down and get up, they're not as graceful. And so for my own beagle, I created, I put some fabric on the bottom of the X pen, but you could use an X pen that has those wide long beams, or just put some cardboard at the bottom, so if they lay down and their foot goes through, that they can get that they can either get their foot back easily, or that they can't get their foot through, where they then can't get up and they're trapped. So there's lots to think about when managing and keeping old dogs safe. My little Chihuahua Kiko also, she used to sleep in my bed with me. And then when she started to get dementia, she one night fell out of my bed, and that was, for a tiny dog, it can be really dangerous. So I just stopped allowing her being in my bed. But another solution to that is just having a little soft pen, soft crate, and then zipping the dog in. If you really wanted to have your dog in bed with you, that's the solution. But you might be wondering how I trained my dog to go to the toilet in the house, and that was really hard because she was so house trained. So it was basically trial and error. I tried getting a baby, like a kiddie pool, and putting sod in it. That would work for some dogs. And then put that in my bathroom. I have a really big bathroom. So the kiddie pool with sod that I could change, and she would not go in that. And I think it's because she knew the kiddie pool was like for swimming and drinking. So it was just not a no-go. Then I tried pee pads with grass sprinkled on them, with like sod on them. Nope. So finally, there was this ice plant in my backyard where she constantly went, and I just gathered up some ice plant and made a big jungle of it on the pee pads, and then I gradually reduced it after she learned to go on there. So to teach her to go in the middle of the night, I would, she'd wake me up telling me she needed to go out, and I would take her to the back door where she used to go out to go to the bathroom, and then I would walk her into the bathroom so she could practice that she would go look for me, go to the back door, and then go to the bathroom, and then I would tell her to go pee. So I used a verbal cue to teach her to go to the bathroom. This obviously doesn't work very well if you have a deaf or senile dog, but pointing, you could use a visual cue like pointing at the location where the dog is to go to the bathroom. If your dog is deaf, or just being in the location is the cue to go, or being led in a certain way. So I would lead her to the bathroom and give her the verbal cue, go pee, which I trained by taking her outside and saying go pee just before she went to the bathroom. So not as she was going to the bathroom, but just before she was going to the bathroom, and then she learned the cue meant to go to the bathroom. So I used that to teach her to go to the bathroom in my bathroom, and then over a couple of weeks she actually learned to not wake me up. She would go to the door and then go to the bathroom, and then eventually she would just go and use the bathroom herself because it was highly reinforcing to release her bladder. So that's how it worked, is that over time she just found it reinforcing to go there. But she did prefer going outside. So I do think it's a great idea with old dogs and puppies and any age of a dog that you constantly give them opportunities to go outside, so that it's the preference. Otherwise, what can happen is that they can start going in your house. And if you have an incontinent dog, they're not going to be able to hold it. If it's a puppy, some puppies cannot hold their bladder. And if it's an adult dog, I mean an older dog or a dog with health issues, sometimes they just can't hold it. So you're going to have to be conscious of when they've drank water and when they need to go to the bathroom. So giving meals where your dog is, where you know when your dog ate a certain amount of food and when they usually go to the bathroom, you can start to exercise them at times when you know they might poop. So you can make sure they've pooped, and then if they drink a lot of water, say they did some exercise or they got hot, they were laying in the sun, came in and gulped up a lot of water, then in 30 minutes, they're probably going to need to pee, so take them out. So just being mindful of when they're eating and drinking, and being mindful of those precursors to when they need to go to when they are looking to go to the bathroom can be so helpful. So I have mainly been talking about going to the toilet. Sorry, but that I think is the most important thing, and the most exhausting thing is being woken up in the night and cleaning up accidents with older dogs. The other things to keep in mind when you have an older dog is their health and quality of life. So I'm not a nutritionist, but researching a good diet for your specific dog is a great idea for your older dog's needs, but also your dog's physical health and mental health. So you can play training games with your dog, and some training games are extremely beneficial for older dogs. A lot of canine freestyle and obedience behaviors are so good for older dogs. And so I suggest that you go to a physical therapist or a canine fitness expert and learn what exercises are beneficial for your specific dog. So these people can help your dog build the muscles that are necessary to keep them fit and healthy and able to walk. So Kiko, my little Chihuahua, she actually was born with no hocks, ankle joints. They were very rudimentary, and her back legs could bend in and out. It was quite horrific. I think I have like one video on the internet of where they're bending the wrong way. But usually, because of all the training, she's walking correctly. So doing canine fitness exercises and physical therapy and fun tricks that are beneficial for my specific dog's needs has kept them healthy and moving all their life. And an extremely important thing is keeping their weight down, so they're a healthy weight, not skinny fat, which is when the dog is super skinny with no muscle, because for me that's really scary. If they get sick, there's nothing for them to survive on to get through that illness. So being healthy, physically fit for their age, having muscle, and not being overweight but not being super skinny is going to be highly beneficial for their body. Older dogs are not able to go on walks as long as they used to, so I suggest doing shorter walks more frequently. So that's also going to help them go out and go to the bathroom. So instead of one long walk, you might do 3 short walks, or maybe your dog isn't able to do a proper walk and you just go out and let them sniff around in new areas, or you drive somewhere and just let them sniff around and then get back in the car, just to create some variety and interest in their life. If they're interested in going out and about and smelling things, if they're fearful and it's stressing them out to go different places, just revisiting the same area that perhaps has different traffic of dogs coming through, or interest. You can also create interest by sprinkling treats in the grass, novelty treats, different types of foods that are healthy for your dog in the grass for them to find. You can also do things like hide the food in different, like if you have to do the games inside, you could hide the food in like a folded towel or a snuffle mat, or under objects like upside down yogurt containers that are clean. So little treats are hidden under yogurt containers where they have to like knock over the containers to find the treats. And just lots of different enrichment ideas that you can think of to build interest in their everyday life. Because I think that sometimes when you're an older dog or an older human being, that it can get quite boring to be doing the same routine over and over again. So creating some interest in the life can greatly increase their mental and physical health. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support my work, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. See you later.